Hi, I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and we're here at FedTalks with Anthony Robbins, Vice President for Federal at NVIDIA. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today.
Wyatt, it's a pleasure to be working with you again.
Well, let me ask, from your perspective, how can the federal government really kind of take emerging technologies like AI and the cloud and automation and really kind of leapfrog ahead using those technologies?
Well, I think there's a whole bunch of things that the federal government can do. First of all, they've really rallied industry to the challenges and opportunities associated with artificial intelligence. If you begin with the fact that the president signed an executive order on artificial intelligence, right? So an EO, while doesn't have the force of a law, it has the kind of the power of a law. So that, the president signed an executive order on artificial intelligence, thus communicating to the industrial base how important AI is. DARPA created AI Next, where they said they were going to put a 5-year program in place, fund it with $2 billion to figure out how to focus on artificial intelligence for the Department of Defense. The Pentagon also stood up the JAIC, the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, led by a 3-star general, and so there's been all of these steps that the government has taken, signals that they've sent to industry, and then they've had a whole bunch of events and they've communicated around priorities like platform sustainment, cybersecurity, autonomous systems, and robotics. So I think in the case of artificial intelligence as a technology trend that's important to the federal government, they've signaled to us how important it is, what a priority it is, and they have in fact funded it. So we in industry have to listen and help them go faster.
Well, next, how is the federal government working in new and creative ways to also bring in the talented technologists and AI and data specialists into its workforce?
Well, I think there's a whole bunch of ways that they're doing that. So, if you remember the work that was occurring under Suzette Kent as they were trying to train the cyber workforce, I see evidence of the same occurring relative to artificial intelligence. So the Defense Innovation Board has had training as a mantra. I know across the Department of Defense and in civilian agencies, they've been very focused on training. And in addition, in the case of artificial intelligence, they've reached out to startup communities to try to get startups under contract. And it could be through the work, the amazing work that's occurring under the Defense Innovation Unit. It could be under the work that's happening under the Army Futures Command and how they're engaged with Carnegie Mellon, CMU, to get at educational institutions to help them. And then they've done a whole bunch of work as it relates to Silicon Valley, Austin, and Boston to connect to the startup community and to try to encourage the startup community to come in and help where they have gaps.
Well, and finally, I'd like to just explore a little, what trends or priorities do you have on your radar as you work with federal customers as we head into 2021?
Well, that's a big question, and there's a long answer to that, and I know we only have a short window. So in short, artificial intelligence is the largest technology transformation that the federal government has ever undertaken. And there's compelling reasons why it is so big, why it is so now, and why the government has to go much faster. Important to the government going faster is alignment with the industrial base, of which NVIDIA and many other companies are a part of. And that could be those providers that are in the cloud, the support on-prem solutions, or on the edge. And so we have to do a good job helping the government move fast and move at scale on this, the largest technology transformation ever that the federal government has taken on board. And important to that are several components. One is the data that they have access to, and is it usable, and how do they get it usable? The next piece is the infrastructure that data is going to need to reside on so that they can go train the algorithms to do this work. And as I mentioned earlier, that could be on-prem, in the cloud, or at the edge. The next thing is, where are all the data scientists? Who are the people that are going to go do this work? And then what are the use cases that they're going to start with? So I think what we coach the government and counsel the government on is pick use cases where you can model success, you can move fast, and you do what Suzette Kent always said: just get started now. And so if they address those four things, which is the data, the infrastructure, the use case, and the talent, if they bring that together and start doing something now, I think they'll find far more success a lot faster than some have envisioned.
Well, those are some great points. Well, Anthony Robbins, thank you so much for taking time to join us here at Fed Talks. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Why, it's my pleasure, and it's good seeing you again.